Hello everyone. Welcome to the DigiTech Dialogue. I am Arpit Gupta. The DigiTech Dialogue series is an initiative of ED government, the Economic Times. This is an interactive show with bureaucrats on different milestones in their digital transformation journey. In this series, senior government officials give an insight of digital innovations and use of new technologies by their department or ministry. Today, on behalf of ED government, the Economic Times, I welcome Mr. Kumar Vineet, Managing Director of UPDESCO, Government of Uttar Pradesh. He is also the Special Secretary of IT and Electronics Department in the Government of Uttar Pradesh. It is indeed a great pleasure to meet you and have you on today's show, Mr. Kumar Vineet.
Thank you, Arpit. Thank you so much.
Mr. Kumar Vineet is our esteemed guest for the DigiTech Dialogue today. Let me share with our audience, Mr. Kumar Vineet is a 2000 batch PCS officer of Uttar Pradesh. He has done BTech in Electrical Engineering from KNIT Sultanpur and MA from King College, London, UK. In his previous assignments, Mr. Vineet has served as Additional Director in Mandi Parishad, Staff Officer, Board of Revenue, ADM Enforcement in Gautam Buddha Nagar, Secretary, Meerut Development Authority, and Deputy Collector in Meerut, Aligarh, Agra, and Gorakhpur districts. I once again welcome you, Mr. Kumar.
Thank you so much, Arpit. Thank you so much. It is indeed a pleasure to be a part of this conversation, and I'm looking forward to it to be very constructive one indeed.
Let's begin the conversation. My first question to you, Mr. Kumar, is what has been the impact of COVID-19 pandemic in the ongoing projects of UPDESCO, and what has been the role of IT and technology during the pandemic, and how did IT come to the rescue? Over to you.
Yeah, but COVID-19 has been a very important impact on all government departments, and UPDESCO has been no exception to it. But yes, using IT as a tool, as an infrastructure, as a mode of betterment and our own ability, increasing ability, we have made it a boon, and we have really done well in this pandemic as well, if we take IT part to be precise. Now, if I talk about the role of IT during the pandemic in terms of government of Uttar Pradesh and how did IT came into rescue of it. Well, when in the COVID-19 was there as a national lockdown was happening, Honorable CM Yogi Adityanath conceptualized it, and he put forth this idea that we should use Mukhyamantri Helpline as a centralized control room through which we can function both as research center, both as where all the citizens of the state can connect one way, and also we can get feedback from them. We can keep a tab on what are the different fields of medical health going on, what is happening to the people over there, how are they feeling about the reach of the health services and everything. So we used to call people, we are still calling people, we registered their needs, we sent it to our own integrated grievance redressal system, we made a integrated command center at each and every district of UP, and through this, we made an entire process linked through a IT infrastructure on which if any complaint used to come, if any requirement was there, any impediment, issue of impediment was there or immediate requirement was there, we could definitely deal with it. We could deal it in real time, effectively. We have really very good success stories on that, in which people have really appreciated that they made a call to CM Helpline, Mukhyamantri Helpline. They got the relief that they wanted to. Things like people are there in the front of the hospital and they're not able to understand what could be the process, how to get an RT-PCR, how to get an admission done, oxygen cylinder is not there, things, very small thing, because this was an issue that something we had never actually conceptualized that this is going to happen. Such situations like this happen once in a century. So Uttar Pradesh has used this IT technology and its platform in a beautiful way. We have taken hold of all the stakeholders and involved each and every layer of bureaucracy in this crisis management. Now, this onerous task of remodeling or redeploying the UP Mukhyamantri Helpline Center, which is 1076, We have a 500-seater helpline working at any point of time, 24/7. So we converted into a COVID center. Daily, we used to make a call to the home isolation to get a feedback whether they are having medicines or not, whether they are having any important medical issue, whether they are having any important issue which they are not aware of, but it needs a medical attention. So we covered all these aspects of home isolation. Then we went to hospitalization. And when we called hospitalization, we asked them what about the visit of the doctors, what has happened to the feedback that hospitals are giving to them on a daily basis, and like. So on these various verticals, senior doctors, municipal officers, of course, there were many unfortunate incidences also. So we were in touch with the municipal corporation as well. So Mukhyamantri Helpline has, on this broad network, on this broad framework, data analysis of incoming call was done on a daily basis. On this data analysis, we categorized the issues that used to come to us. And on these categorized issues, we again used to take a follow-up mechanism through hospitalization, through municipal corporation, and through integrated grievance redressal system. We have an IGRS integrated to it. So any escalation, we captured it into IGRS, threw it to the district administration, threw it to the hospital administration, threw it to the medical health, and we extracted the actual support that could have been given or delivered to the system, to the citizen. And in a way, government to citizen services were given a very, very important booster. So the standard operating procedure for entire resolution of complaint, etc., was all drafted. We also issued a government order in this regard, so that there must be a standardized implementation, right from district magistrate to commissioner to chief medical officer to municipal commissioner, each and everyone who is involved into the matter. Then we had a grievance redressal system also. Of course, we cannot redress each and every grievance which comes to us, but definitely we tried our level best that this IT platform can help the citizen of Uttar Pradesh resolve their grievances, if not totally, but substantial. And we have definitely been in a very good position in that. May I have the video also in this regard, please?
नमस्कार, सीएम हेल्पलाइन से प्रियंका बात कर रही हूँ।
वर्तमान शासनकाल में ये परिकल्पना की गई थी कि माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी के कार्यालय के माध्यम से एक हेल्पलाइन संचालित की जाए। यूपीडेस्को के माध्यम से यह हेल्पलाइन संचालित की जा रही है। यह हेल्पलाइन फरवरी 2018 से क्रियाशील हो चुकी है। कोविड को लेकर विशेष रूप से हम लोगों ने पिछले सत्र में भी हेल्प डेस्क ऑर्गेनाइज किया था और वी यूज्ड टू टेक कॉल्स और उनको हम केटर करते थे, हेल्प करते थे। तो इस बार जो स्कोप ऑफ कोविड था, इम्पैक्ट ऑफ कोविड था, काफ़ी हाई था। तो हम लोगों ने बेसिकली इस बात पर स्ट्रेस किया कि हम अधिक से अधिक कोविड से प्रभावित लोगों को रीच कर सकें, उनकी होम आइसोलेशन की स्थिति से अवगत हो सकें, सरकारी सेवा, सरकारी सुविधाएं जो प्रदत्त हो रही हैं वो उन तक पहुंच पा रही हैं अथवा नहीं, इसके बारे में जानकारी ले सकें।
घबराने की नहीं है बात, सरकार खड़ी है साथ।
So, as you can see, The CM Helpline has gone about its operation in a planned way, comprising both inbound and outbound call strategy. We had a separate dashboard also at Jansunwai portal, where all calls are logged in. Approximately 1 lakh calls, incoming and outgoing. If we add it to it, there are approximately 1 lakh calls per day. There used to be at the peak of the event pertaining to COVID. And we had each and every call was articulated, it was registered, and the grievance that was done to that call was monitored. The response were categorized, and once in a while the CM office, Chief Minister office used to evaluate it. The third party audit used to evaluate it. Even I as MD, UPDESCO and Special Secretary, I have also listened to so many calls, so many registered calls personally. Secondly, and the major part which we have seen in the last year particularly, the lockdown issues like requirement of food, like migrant labor, like medical emergencies, because this was an unforeseen situation. We were not aware that such a situation might come in and might persist for such a long period of time. So all this situation plus COVID history of people who were traveling, their travel history, their symptoms, their isolation period, everything was covered through this IT platform, through this Honorable Mukhyamantri CM Helpline. Not even that, there has been a GS-based map also up to the village level through NIC technical team, wherein the inbound, outbound calls can be mapped on the Uttar Pradesh map, so that we can have an idea what is the flashpoint area, or what are the important districts, what are the important regions, what are the important blocks, which are actually getting, what should I say, our attention or something like that. So if I would conclude that this lockdown in this entire pandemic region, IT-based solution has been a very important rescue platform for Uttar Pradesh.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. And I believe these ICT initiatives undertaken by the Department of IT and Electronics, Government of Uttar Pradesh, have been fruitful, including the CM Helpline 1076, as you told, how it has been helping and reaching out to people in these difficult times. My next question to you, Mr. Kumar, is UPDESCO is a nodal agency for providing services related to IT and ITES, such as procurement and supply of hardware, software, training, consultancy, and human resources. Can you please share your experience on infrastructure support and capacity building part?
Yes, actually, ever since this GEM has arrived, so now a major shift has gone to GEM portal, and through GEM portal, departments are doing their procurement and everything. As UPDESCO, this organization has been helping various departments to make their itinerary, to go into the technicalities of the entire processes, and we help them how to get into the tendering process and everything, so that we get the best of what we want actually to procure. Secondly, particularly if I would say in this particular region of, in this arena of pandemic that we have been through, in the last 4 or 5 months, I have got many departments pouring in to shift to IT platform, so that in future also they can connect to each and every part of the organization they are functioning in, and their services may be delivered in a much better space. Just to give you an example, for example, SWAN is our state-wide area network is in vogue. And through SWAN, we had a very, very important impact in the Panchayat elections. The entire network of each and every block of Uttar Pradesh was connected through it. The entire delivery system, the entire correspondence system was through this SWAN platform, which is being monitored and being administered by UPDESCO on behalf of government of UP. And it has really delivered a lot in this pandemic season, in this election platform as well. And just recently, we have expanded this SWAN area to get more horizontal connectivity to other departments as well. So to conclude, I would say that in pandemic also and otherwise also, Uttar Pradesh is now transforming into a very, very technocratic state, should I say.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Can you please also highlight the role of your private partners in this SWAN, how the connectivity is being improved in the rural areas of Uttar Pradesh, and how you are conducting such big events like elections, panchayat elections through IT initiatives?
There are two modes in which we are giving this impetus to connectivity in rural areas, and now we are in the process of analyzing what has been the utility of those system. One is through Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, which is a Government of India spearheaded organization, and BSNL is the nodal of that organization, and on behalf of Government of Uttar Pradesh, UPDESCO is looking after it, it's monitoring as well. So through that organization, we are trying to spread our tentacles into each and every revenue administration of Uttar Pradesh. We have already covered more than 60% where fiber optics is actually there. People are about to use it. And if you permit me, these CSCs or common service centers, which are in vogue in each and every gram panchayats. There are at least 2 common service centers in each and every gram panchayats. Now, the major connectivity issue is through this network, which is slowly and steadily developing up and maturing very fast. And perhaps in another, the target is 2024. By 2024, each and every gram panchayat of Uttar Pradesh will have a fiber optic connectivity, and this can also be translated into the services, because we can see a very huge surge in common service centers, their activity. Of late, we have another technical intervention in this regard. We have used common service centers to help people get vaccination appointments. So this is and we are more than 40% of our vaccination appointments are now coming through this common service centers. So this gives a feedback that yes, system is in place, system is in vogue, and it is functioning. That is the private part in which private players are coming into using a system that has developed. Now coming to the SWAN, the State Wide Area Network that Government of Uttar Pradesh has placed it. So earlier, you know, that it was run by NIC. Now we are doing it. We have a vertical network at each and every district, vertical connectivity right from Lucknow to each and every district. There is one vertical connectivity. And secondly, we have horizontal connectivity within the district to different departments. Now, of late, we have connected, we are in process of connecting each and every development office. Chief Development Officer, their offices are being connected. Their offices are being made Wi-Fi, their internal connectivity is through this wide area network. In future, we will also be giving facility of secure video conferencing on those platforms, unlimited video conferencing on those platforms, so that let us see how this system evolves, because ultimately any system that has to evolve, one is the idea that is behind it, and second is the utility behind it. People have to use it. So our users at one end, that is BSNL driven connectivity, fiber optics at every village level is one part that private person has to use it, and secondly SWAN, in which government department has to use it. So let us see what future has in store for us. But definitely I can see a very important rise in this.
Thank you for highlighting the journey of UPDESCO in these various IT initiatives of UP government. Mr. Kumar, UPDESCO has been instrumental in setting up almost all the mighty funded core infrastructure projects such as UP State Data Center, as you just talked about, Common Service Center, CSCs, State Service Delivery Gateway, etc. The Uttar Pradesh government has recently announced its data center policy as well. So what are some of the unique features of the policy that gives an edge over other states in inviting data center developers to come to Uttar Pradesh? Over to you.
Yeah, but thank you so much for asking me that question, because I really wanted to highlight the data center policy of Uttar Pradesh, which is one of the, we are one of the forerunners in this field. After central government came in with this data center initiatives, we were amongst the first state in India to come up with our own data center policy. We are highlighting, we are targeting at least 20,000 crores of investment through this data center policy, and some 250 megawatt capacity data center centers industry should come over here in UP. We have already developed our policy. We are in process of preparing the guidelines, which will be out very soon. Now, this aggressive pursuing of industrialization, which has led to the development of state to generate new employment opportunities. We are seeing it as an employment opportunity because every data center might directly not involve so much of a employment, but behind that, once the usage comes into being, the employment generation is definitely going to be very important. And this will also result in uplifting the economic conditions of the system. So the data center policy that we launched will attract at least 20,000 crores. That is our target. We already have 8 or 9 proposals in hand. We already have. And some of the major groups that you may name are there with their proposals. Some of them are already in the process of acquiring land. One center is already started in Noida. So this policy has created interest in the actual people who really are the real players. So in this policy, the major features are that we offer capital subsidy, we give interest subsidy, we give subsidy on land procurement, and there are many non-financial incentives. Back-to-back power supply is always there, and we prioritize it. One of the data center that is already in progress, we have prioritized it with and we are doing it on one-to-one connectivity. On behalf of the entrepreneur also, we also try to facilitate, and we also try to directly connect to the department and ask them and schedule them and come out with the facilitation process and any glitches or any hitches which come in between. So I must say that data center policy in coming months is going to be the talk of the town. It is going to be the major initiative of Uttar Pradesh for years to come.
Thank you. And we must congratulate Government of Uttar Pradesh, you, your team, and entire IT department for bringing out such a great policy. Mr. Kumar, now that Uttar Pradesh government has a very great policy framework as far as IT and electronics is concerned, startups are concerned, data center is concerned, do you feel Uttar Pradesh should be looked at as a preferred investment destination now?
I would love to. And yes, Uttar Pradesh is indeed a preferred destination. We have, if I talk beyond the IT department as well, scenario is very conducive. The law and order issue is not there. Interdepartmental coordination is really very nice. If I talk particularly about IT department, the policies and initiatives that have come over, and the way bureaucratic system is working on it to connect to each and every person one-to-one. I would really share with you with my own experience that we are in process of connecting each and every offer that comes to us, just like it comes to any other organization, any private organization. It might come to you. You also deal in one-to-one initiative. As government department also, we are trying to cater to each and every entrepreneur who is coming to us, so that they may feel happy, they may feel facilitated, they may feel at home, and they may really be lured into coming into the process of investing in Uttar Pradesh. And yes, as an officer of government of UP and as a citizen, as a native of Uttar Pradesh, I would really pray and wish that yes, many more investments should come over here.
Mr. Vineet, I would like to ask, the incumbent government of Uttar Pradesh is completing the tenure of 5 years soon, next year. We are going ahead for the elections. So can you please highlight those 3 major achievements of IT department that you feel proud of, and you think that government should focus on these achievements when they are going for the elections?
That would be a slightly thin line on which I should tread into, but if you say the achievements that the government of Uttar Pradesh has been in the last couple of years, I would say one is that we have come out with a policy framework right after the MIT has given us instructions, we came out with policy, be it IT manufacturing policy, be it data center, be it electronics policy, be it startup policy. Very recently, we have tied up with the IIT Kanpur, and we are coming up with one of the biggest center of excellence in Noida Center. That is going to be one of the biggest center of India, center of excellence. So these are clear achievements, and ultimately, if the entire platform, the utility of platform is to be seen, or if we see that how we managed COVID in the last 13-14 months, I would say that IT has played its role beautifully, and government has really excelled in this particular issue. Mani Mukhyamantri Helpline, even you would appreciate that because you are connected to so many states and you are having data of so many other districts and other states of India. And you would really appreciate that such a large state, such a large entity is able to manage its problems in a good enough way. So I think these are the doables which are definitely going to count for years to come.
You particularly talked about CM Helpline. So one question is there that I wanted to ask. So apart from these COVID situation and pandemic calls, what are other areas that CM Helpline covers, and how many frequent calls are happening at present? Can you share some thoughts and figures?
Yeah. See, Mukhyamantri Helpline takes care of all the 23 departments who are into direct benefit, who are into service sectors, who are into government to citizen services. For example, recently we had done our wheat purchase, and a few months back we had our paddy purchase. So in this sector also we entered into the scenario. We talked to the people. People used to give us feedback that there is a problem here in Devariya or there's a problem here in Shahjahanpur at this particular center, and this is the problem that is happening. We initiated it into the integrated grievance redressal system, and IGRS has this tendency to react within 24 hours. There are different levels in which the concerned officer has to react. So 24 hours, 1 week, maximum 15 days. So there are important issues that have to be taken care of by the district or the concerned department. That happened. Secondly, you can say the food department is doing this distribution of ration through POS machines. So the feedback, more than 99.23% of the entire distribution of PDS goes through these machines. We take feedback. What happened? How was the reaction of all 3-4 levels? What was the reaction of the district? What was the reaction of the ration dukandar? What was their feedback about the quality of food? What has happened in case of any hattoli and everything? And we cater to it. Another example I would give is a labor department. Recently, there were in this pandemic, we had to give direct benefit to so many laborers. You know the amount went through direct benefit transfer scheme. We took care of it. So we had to take an analysis of what is happening actually at the ground center level, whether they actually got the money, whether they are actually laborers who have been rightfully tapped into by the department, whether it is not a bogus or something different. So in this way also, we got a feedback call, we got a proactive callings done on behalf of department, and we got a receiving calls from citizen to government, which we catered to. So in this way, Mukhyamantri Helpline has catered to government to citizen programs in a big way.
Before I move to the last question of our discussion, I would also like to understand your challenges, since you are sitting at a place where everyone calls you up and tells you the problem, because you are handling the IT department. You can create a mobile application, you can create a website, you can create infrastructure, but at the end, it is the responsibility of other departments to run it. When it comes to digitally literate them, there are so many challenges. When it comes to actually make them use the particular application or website, again, it creates a lot of problems. So how challenging has been your job to educate and inculcate the digital literacy among the citizens of the state as well as the government departments? Over to you.
Arpit, there is a very famous law of physics that you also must have read, that is law of inertia. So any change is always resisted upon unless and until it actually gets executed. If you remember some 20-25 years back, when typewriters were being outdated and computers were being brought into, so there was a very major resistance amongst the government section. Now, if you ask anyone, even into 30 years of his service, that you come back to typewriter, they say, bullshit, I cannot do that. So change is always resisted, and it is always resisted for good when there is a resistance. And I always feel better that yes, this resistance is for good. So similarly, we are facing challenges, and yes, to try to inculcate all these issues amongst the what should I say, the government machinery is not easy. It is not just the government machinery; it is amongst the people as well. Now, plastic money or e-transfer or e-money. We never thought that this would happen so easily and so smoothly. But initially, there was so much of a resistance. Now you can see that QR code in front of your sabji wala also, and in front of your pan wala also, and in the most rural of the rural areas, you can always have a small QR code placed at the front of a shop. So people always welcome change, but yes, they resist to it initially. And once they overcome the resistance, it will always, it is always for good. So yes, we are facing challenges. We are trying to overcome it. It is always the first section is how it will happen. No, it cannot happen. And then once it happens, then say, oh, what should be the next step? So let us see how well we can get into it. And I am very hopeful that in years to come, Uttar Pradesh is going to be a leading partner in IT sector in India.
Mr. Kumar, my last question to you is, going forward, what are your priorities for the current fiscal 21 and 22? Over to you.
My first priority will be cyber security. It is really very important that our entire infrastructure is really secure. And then we are thinking in terms of making our own cyber grievance cell. Cyber Sakshata Kendra is already there on, it is already being thrust upon by Government of India, but we are trying to capture it and we are trying to come up with our own policy. And see, we are creating a network at different levels. These are disintegrations. Now we have to integrate it and bring it to one platform. We have to integrate the services and bring it to one platform so that this entire process, this entire scenario of IT platform is stable. Second part is that it has to be secure, because the, what should I say, the confidence of a common man on government system should not go away. And that is the biggest challenge that we are going to face amongst the IT sector, the IT level, the IT paraphernalia that we are going to develop. Next is the dissemination of information. How well we can disseminate the information about the department, about incoming perceptions, about threat perceptions, and utility of services of government to citizens. Basically, ultimately we are trying to achieve the same level which we should, that is faceless administration. Arpit wants, you want your income certificate, you want caste certificate, you want your Khatani, whatever. You should not see me. You should not interact with me. You should interact with through a platform which is secure. You are also confident. I am also confident that Mr. Arpit is coming to me through a secure way. I am also confident that yes, I will be able to deliver the right services to him, and there is no interaction, direct interaction. If we are able to give as much services through faceless administration, we have achieved it. So this is going to be the biggest challenge, that we create a secure environment of IT infrastructure in Uttar Pradesh in years to come.
One question, last question of this conversation. How can emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, cloud, augmented reality, virtual reality, Internet of Things, etc., can transform Uttar Pradesh. And as you talked about the cybersecurity initiatives of Uttar Pradesh, do you feel Uttar Pradesh is on the way of becoming a digital Uttar Pradesh in real sense?
Yeah, let's see, these technologies, if I say Internet of Things or artificial intelligence, see, very small thing, artificial intelligence. You also go for registry once in a lifetime, everyone goes for his house and everything. And still, the most important thing that you really want to know is what will be the cost of registry. Now, this is something which is in a very, very, what should I say, in a scattered way as of now. Recently, government has come with an idea of making it through a guideline, through a government order, through a regulation for this part. Now, there are certain departments in which artificial intelligence with chat boxes are coming into it. Chatbots are coming into it. So many issues, so many services, so many reason or how to avail to those services can be taken up through these chatbots, through these artificial intelligence initiatives. Departments like GST, department like health, revenue, they are all coming in with these chatbots. And very soon we will see artificial intelligence coming up in so many departments in a very big way. So yes, even our crisis management plan might also be using all these paraphernalias. But if you would talk about what immediately that is something going to happen, then I would say artificial intelligence is going to make an impact on so many departmental services which are government to citizen centric. So yes, I look forward to it, and I would surely be very optimistic in this regard that we are soon going to be a leader in use of artificial intelligence in government to citizen centric services.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kumar Vineet. It was really a great interaction with you. Our sincere thanks to you for accepting our invitation and making today's show wonderful. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you, Apit. Thank you, entire team. Thanks a lot.
And for the audience, the DigiTech Dialogue series is an initiative of ET Government, The Economic Times. This is an interactive show with bureaucrats on different milestones in their digital transformation journey. In this series, senior government officials give an insight of digital innovations and use of new technologies by their department or ministry. Each week, we present a new guest and discuss the digital transformation journey and a future roadmap for Digital India. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.